Alright, today in the shop we're going to tackle the Pallisade door latch actuator. It's not working. The remote does not control it. So we're going to dig into this and see what we can find. Disconnect the battery because there is an airbag connector we're going to disconnect, so we've got to be careful of that. So first thing is to remove this flap on the bottom of the door handle. Pick that up. It comes out, and there's a Phillips underneath. We'll pull that out. Other than the snaps. Alright, we're going to disconnect that battery now. Right, we should be able to pry off the door card now. A little bigger gap here. This door card proved to be very difficult to get off. I really had to pull on it. Of course, as you get close to the top, you'll have to this sail panel will need to be pried off before you can get the door card off. Sometimes these little sail things pop out. As expected. As we go along, I'm going to try to show you how the connectors come off, where to push. There's a little, you have to squeeze the back part of that to get it to release. Really tough to get those inner pops to go. There we go. And you lift up a little bit over the door, and we'll look for all the wires. A little clip in there is what goes. There's this big switch wire. Pressing on the front to let that go. So that's how that works. Little release right there. This is on camera. To remove all these 10 millimeters. So I'm going to take all these wire clips out, because I think when I pull this card off, it's going to want to be free of that. So you squeeze the inner part of that, it'll just pop out through the hole there. In retrospect, These might not need to be undone. I think it might just be the two that are up actually on the frame, or three actually, up on the frame where the tweeter was,
Sure enough.
and then on the back side of the panel underneath the main speaker. There's a clip. But
yeah, that looks like airbag to me. All these wire connections, if I can disconnect this guy. What's going on there? Okay, so of course, since that's part of the frame, it wants to stay. Now it goes in to who knows what.
you do need to remove this plug for sure, and that'll give some slack to that wire.
Camera here locally, so this actually slides down. There's little springs under here. You push in on this part, and rather than wreck my fingernails, I'm going to use these needle nose to push down. So you push down on it, and then that lets the oh, it didn't hold by itself. Oops. Here she's. Anyway, I don't know if you're supposed to push them out below, but anyway, that's how that works.
I left this in for reference on how to take it off, but you don't need to remove it. But you do need to unhook the battery because this is the airbag sensor and you don't want it to go off.
I've removed this boot. This is if you're going to hold the window down, take the door latch off. I'm open enough to do that. I've already removed all but one of these 10 millimeters just to get things sped along here. And we'll see if this pulls away.
So it doesn't pull away. You do have to take the window off to get this whole assembly out. So I'm going to skip ahead to that.
Take this out.
So you have to hook up the battery back up and then reattach the cable to the window switch. To be more efficient, you could probably actually lower the window into position before you unhooked it in the first place. If the battery was still connected, which would be okay.
Should do it.
So yeah, you have to key up the accessory, and then like you saw, just tap the window down until the bolts line up into those holes. You have to remove those caps to get to those holes. I disconnected the battery again because I'm going to back to that airbag sensor, and then disconnect the door card again and set that aside.
So we're going to remove these two 10 millimeters. I wanted to do it by hand. It's very light. That was exactly why I did it. I wasn't sure how much force it would take, and it doesn't take much.
If you have a magnetic socket, that would be very helpful. Otherwise, you're likely to drop the screws when they come out. You can get to them later, but when you're going back together is the bigger issue. I'd recommend having, at least a couple feet long piece of tape before you start that, because the window has no resistance. It will just drop. Next, you'll need to snap these cables out of the housing there.
So white on top, blue on bottom. I'm going to snap it on me. Just twist to get released.
This piece seemed pretty lightweight, so I was leery of breaking the housing when I popped those out. So using a screwdriver on one, I was able to get it behind the plastic and then twist the flat edge and pop it out. These two bolts also have to come off. There's a bolt behind there, a bolt behind there that we gotta remove or loosen at least. That was not tight at all. I tried to get a magnetized screwdriver just in case I pulled that screw out too far, and that's why I switched to a screwdriver. You basically have to keep backing that out until you can pop the handle out of the other side. I'll show it in a minute. Show that there's actually this. So this did slide out. Like that. Slides forward. So after I loosen that bolt, this slides out, pops out. We got a cable on there. Little gasket, I guess I'd call them. That need to be popped off. Ah, another screw under there. Of course there is. That almost looks like a separate cap. Okay, that's where the screw goes in. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Set that. Yeah. Right here. Squeeze that in. Okay. See what happens. It looks like this whole thing slides forward off of that little clip there. Alright. So that piece sliding forward is the key to getting the whole panel to come off. Really don't want that screw to be flinging into the nether regions of the door. I decided I'd have to remove those wire clips from the door frame. I just carefully got a screwdriver behind it to release the snaps on it, and it worked. Alright, now we're completely free. I still didn't have to unplug that. So yeah, could have left that airbag sensor still connected. I don't think it would have mattered. Might be safe to unhook the battery anyway, but anyway, you don't have to worry about unclipping that. Aha! Must have been sitting on a ledge. As soon as I pulled that down, it freed up. I don't have a good camera angle, but just make sure that the door latch side on the outside of the door is not catching. I think that helps on this stage. You gotta be kidding me. Big wire harness in here. So this new wire harness we just found has a couple of clips on it that need to be removed, and that'll free up some space to allow the guard to slide out enough. Free up a little room maybe. Alright, so I don't have a good camera angle on this, but I'm working on some plastic clips, white plastic clips that hold the assembly into the door guard, or the main frame there. So you'll see it during the reassembly. Unfortunately.
So the door handle assembly, which or bracket is which that piece laying across the frame there, separates from the actuator assembly. The wire on the door latch piece that just fell over there in my hand does not have to be unwound on that straight release, but the wire on the actuator assembly would have to be unwound.
Providentially put in a little brace for the window, which was good because the tape all came off overnight. So I'd recommend that if you're going to leave it a while. I just need better tape, I guess. Okay, and I put some rags in here just in case the window fell on it before I thought of that, and maybe it keeps the window from getting cracked or breaking. Alright, so you put all this back together.
So the white plastic bracket slides into those notches and snaps into place.
Good.
Yeah, I'd recommend attach that bar, or rod I guess I should call it, and cinch it in on both ends. It took me a long time to remember if I had done that later, and so anyway, do it early and get it out of the way. So yeah, it's probably good to take a picture of this before you take it apart, how that cable winds through all these little posts and stuff.
We'll leave this one around this one, in fact. Snaps into that one.
That's what I didn't have on camera, taking it apart, where that snaps together.
And it's not a super tight fit. I kind of remember that. What I probably should have, didn't think of it, routed these cables in here first. Looks like they bend adequately. Get that grommet to go through. Twisted here. There we go.
So yeah, you got to push that grommet through the hole and put it in later through the other side.
This to go in. Okay. Looks good. Let's make sure my window doesn't drop. Looks like it's gonna hold for
I had reinforced the tape
minutes.
earlier, so that's why I could take that out.
Put back together. These clips in.
So don't do that yet. You'll see why.
This is a I would. Well, that was live and learn. I gotta give my wire a little slack to get into this.
It reminds me, I don't think I showed
removing these clips on the front end when we took it all apart, but yeah, that has to come out.
Mounting. Now we can flip them. I have a feeling this is not going to be an easy retraceal. Seemed like it was hanging on stuff all the way.
Now is a good time to re-snap those cables on the inside to,
box down there that,
because if you forget it, you have to take it all back apart.
and the problem is
Locking that in place is the key to success.
just by pulling it, it helps bring it into somewhat position.
Be sure if I would have pulled that back and then put that screw in, I would have been much farther ahead.
So quite a ways off. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Looking good. Now there's a wire.
Don't remember what wire this is that I'm looking for. I think I'm mistaken that there's a wire you have to do something with, but your mileage may vary.
It has a pivot. I did not take that out, so there we go. There we go. Great. Just kind of clip on each end. Put the thicker one in first. Yeah, better this way because that's where the screw goes.
So yeah, you put the little covers on and snap this back into place. I needed to get some needle nose to hold this connector out so I could get the wire in.
Can't get enough. Now I get why that's on a pivot. Inside there. This has to pivot.
This hung me up for a little while. I think my problem was I didn't have the screw in far enough into that on the side of the door. If the door handle doesn't push in easily, something's wrong. Shouldn't have to push too hard to get it in.
Slides forward. All good. All good in the hood. Alright, tighten that back down. If I remember right, it wasn't super tight, so.
Now you can put the Torx three Torx back in. I didn't get that very good on camera, but they just go in and tighten them. Next, I'm going to hold the window up, take the tape off, and then lower it down into position to screw it back onto the window. I had best luck when I pushed the window all the way towards the rear of the, so it would be the right side on this angle.
Just seems loose to me.
And then just look through that hole, make sure it looks like it's in the guide correctly, and it feels snug. But once you get the screws in, it should not rock back and forth. It should be solid.
Seems
If it rocks, then you need to start over. And I'm using a screwdriver here because it's easier to hold the screw from falling before you start threading in. Easier than with a socket. But I'll come back and tighten it with the socket later. Wasn't very tight, if I remember right. Okay. All right, I think we can start. I think we can start reattaching. Right. There we go. All right, I think we can mount this harness all back up. Looks like it goes. And a little arrow pointing to that. Didn't notice that before. You know, these little plugs for the different holes. This one goes to the outside. Oh, make sure that screws tight first. Those all good. Next, we'll put in all the 10 millimeters around the edge. Start them all by hand and then zip them down. I don't like to use a drill to start them, just in case I start it. Two screws here. And one more Torx for the outside of the... There's no reason to not put all 3 Torx in. I just didn't do it before. Nothing special about leaving one out. I'm just going to go over everything and make sure it's all tight. Have to put this grommet back in. It just squeezes in, no problem. Now I did notice that one of these did not pop out, so I need to reposition that into the panel. See if my tool will get that out. All right. Slide this guy back into position. There we go. We're ready for connections. First is this. So these cables have to gauge these. This one is almost all the way up. This one is almost all the way back. So we're gonna try to get those aligned as best I can on entry. Ah, popped out. Then I'm going to check the handle and the lock to make sure that it's engaging with the cable. I think it's engaged. This one goes in here. I think it goes goes this way. And so it would be better to put the speaker wire back in before this. It has nothing to do with the door panel. Okay, that's it. So the door card hangs over the lip of the window frame there. As soon as you get all that lined up, then you can slide it down a little bit to line up the clips. So it fixed it. All right, so now I'm going to pop in all my snaps. I think just closing the door popped a lot of them in. We'll reattach this tweeter and this little sail connector or sail piece. It just has a pin that goes down to hold it, and then that snaps in. Very simple. I think that does it. Just need to tighten the battery and put this back in. Oops, I need to put that screw in. This is the only screw that holds the door panel on other than the snaps. This really only has a couple little holes, squares that match up to this, that makes it kind of tight, but it's not too hard to get out. And one last thing, I'm going to check how tight this screw is. And put this back in. And we'll call it done. Well, hope that helps someone. And as always, thanks for watching.